Yeah. Yeah.
What the biggest hurdles you think to, self-mastery when it comes to overcoming any psychological issues?
I think first and foremost, it's being able to understand that sometimes the biggest problem is how you're thinking about the problems. And I know that may sound a little weird, but you're a lot of traders, a lot of people have faulty understandings of emotion. They see emotion as the problem. They see the greed, the fear, the anger. They think that's the problem. And I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's a symptom. It's a signal of a deeper problem.
Wow.
It's like looking at, a weed, right? You see this nasty looking thing up on above ground, and you pull it out, but you don't get the weeds. So you don't get the roots. And what happens? It grows back. So emotions that impair your judgment, your decision making, your execution, they have these underlying flaws like high expectations, illusions of control, believing that you can profit from every trade, a confirmation bias. In the book I talk about 30 of these things, maybe a bit more, and they are the real problem, right? Wishing, illusions of learning, they're the real problem. When you have let's say high expectations, okay, and you're underperforming relative to what you think you ought to in the short term, right? And so as a result of that, you could experience fear, greed, overconfidence, or lack of confidence, or anger, and they become the signal or the symptom of that problem. So to me, the first thing you got to do to kind of really get the system working for you is to get a good map, get a good profile of what these problems are, right? You got to identify the emotions that are popping up, the situations where it's happening, the thoughts that come to mind. Maybe there's some kind of physical signals as well, right? You get some tension in your head, you get tension in your hand, maybe your heartbeat rises, you start sweating, or you get excited. Maybe you're kind of hyper focused on one chart over another, so your eyes are kind of fixated. All of that stuff becomes a symptom or a signal of these underlying flaws or biases or illusions. And if you can change your perspective in that direction, then you start to use emotion. So you start to view emotion with much more curiosity rather than like kind of disdain. And I think a lot of people kind of go to battle with their emotions, and some of them are successfully able to kind of contain them or control them. And that's great in the short term, right? It's necessary in the short term. But if you have to continually be battling your emotions, think about it, right? You only have so much focus and energy at one time. If you've got to deploy energy, focus, mental resources to identify when these emotions pop up, and then can kind of contain them and control them when they do, right? The pie chart gets sort of divided here,
right?
And so you just don't have as much focus and attention on the actual execution. Your ability to be like kind of really intuitive and sensing what's happening in the market at a very high level. You can't do it. So controlling your emotions is